here. We out here on this. Y'all, we out here on some nut shit. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know what it is.
Wait, time out. I don't have a good song on. I don't even have a song on.
I'm so tired today. I'm so tired recording this podcast today, but there is so much new music that I wanted to talk to you guys about, so I'm pushing it out regardless. I'm pushing through. But welcome back, everyone, to yet another New Music Monday. This weekend had, like I said, a lot of notable music releases, so let's not waste any time and just jump right into it. As always, singles first, and today we'll start off with, I structured this like I usually do, where I start off with the worst songs that I heard, or at least just the not good ones, and then I slowly work my way down to the best songs that I heard. And I have it sectioned off as so the first song I want to talk about is called Daylight by Joji and Diplo. And I know that I might get some resistance on this opinion, but Joji's voice and his musical style has like zero business being on this song that Diplo put together. I'm assuming here that Diplo made the instrumental first and then Joji sang over it, and in that case, yeah, it doesn't sound right to me. I don't know why it doesn't sound right to me. He just sounds completely out of place. It's honestly not a bad song, but like I said, as I was listening, I kept thinking that he seemed super out of place in every part of the song, other than like maybe a small part of chorus. And by that I mean just like maybe like one vocal run. I thought he sounded good. He just didn't sound like he should have been on this song. Sorry. Like, Joji and Diplo are great artists in their own right, but like I said, this song should have never happened in my opinion. But I mean, you know, the few people that I've seen their opinions on this song and that I've talked to about this song, they seem to love it a lot, which I mean, again, it's not a bad song. It just sounds off to me for some reason. I can't exactly pin it, but whatever. Second song I want to talk about is called Smile by Juice WRLD and The Weeknd. And then this is probably another song that I'm going to get some resistance on, or the opinion I'm going to get some resistance on. And regardless, fuck you guys, this song is bad. I don't care what any of you guys have to say. Like, this song is just bad. This song sounds super bad. Like, Juice WRLD is bad, The Weeknd sounds super out of place somehow. Like, when I started hearing, like, as the song progressed, I was like, alright, like, you know, this isn't the best song in the world, but I could see how The Weeknd could fit on this. And then he came in and didn't sound like he was supposed to be there, honestly. The way I don't know why, it's weird. He sounded like, whatever. He sounded like super cut and paste in there. Like he was added in post, like the song. Well, actually, I'll save that. But the beat to me is insanely boring, like just like insanely vanilla, super boring, super tried and true. It's whatever. It's just boring. I don't know what else to say. The song is just boring. And again, the message is like, the message of the song is super tired at this point, like super tired, especially from Juice WRLD as an artist. And I noticed when I clicked on the song that they just stuck this song. Let me actually make sure this is still true. I don't want to be lying to you guys in here. But when I was listening to it originally, it looked like they just stuck, at least on streaming services, they just stuck this song in the middle. Oh, no, they didn't. Okay. I was going to say, it looked like they did. They did. So it's out as a single, but it's also just shoved in the middle of this Juice WRLD posthumous album that I talked about a few weeks ago. And by shoved in the middle, like it's the seventh song. It's now the seventh song of 22. It's literally just shoved in the middle. And I mean, I guess it would have sounded a lot better if I listened to it while I was listening through the album the first time, because it would have came earlier, I guess, if that makes sense. So I wouldn't have hated the message as much, because again, I'm hearing it. This is the seventh song I would have been listening to instead of technically the 23rd song from this album that I listened to. And like, if I'm gonna listen to it like that, then I've heard this song at this point 4 times throughout the album. And like I said, The Weeknd just doesn't add anything to it as much as I think The Weeknd could have. He's The Weeknd. The Weeknd could do no wrong to me. Personally, he can do almost no wrong musically. But like, I don't know why they put him in like this. It just sounds like he was just shoehorned in there with like no regard to how like he sounded compared to the song, to like the instrumental or to Juice WRLD. It's just weird. And I mean, like, considering that this song is like absolutely, again, is no different to me. This song sounds no different than any other song on this posthumous album. There's literally no reason for it to exist. I know I saw somewhere that Juice WRLD said one of the things that he really wanted to do in music was to work with The Weeknd. I guess in that way, I guess it's cool that they put a song together with the both of them. In that regard, it's cool. I like that. But at the same time, knowing that it should have still been better. I'm pretty sure that actually and it's funny because The Weeknd's verse, I read online that The Weeknd's verse on here was an actual Weeknd song that was leaked a while ago, and then they just kind of stuck Juice WRLD. They kind of just took this Juice WRLD song that was probably unfinished and they needed something for it, and then just stuck them together. And it sounds like it. It just sounds like stapled together. Hastily stapled together. It just doesn't sound good. But I will never ever listen to the song again. And I'm not especially that sorry about it, but whatever. And the last song I want to talk about for the worst singles that I listened to is called Twist and Turn by Popcan. God, I'm pronouncing that horribly, but I'm just going to say Popcan because I think it's funnier to say it that way. Popcan, Drake, and Party Next Door. And keeping in turn with these really bad songs, this song is insanely useless. Just really bad, really useless. Super unnecessary. I shouldn't say useless. Unnecessary. Insanely unnecessary. As I was listening, I listened to it the first time, and I was like, alright, I started writing away right away, like, my hate towards the song. I'm like, alright, this song is just bad. I'm tossing it away. On the second and third listen, I was like, alright, I don't actually mind Drake's contribution here, but at the same time, I couldn't help thinking that I've heard this exact same verse and chorus before. And honestly, that goes for every single other part of this song, not just Drake's. Like, that goes for Party Next Door's parts, that goes for Popcan's verse, that goes for the instrumental, everything. This is, like, to me, this sounds like yet another lazy, slow dancehall song that I guess you could just throw on in the background of, like, a cookout or something. But other than that, this song should never be heard. It should never be listened to critically at all. It should literally just be background music, just, like, white noise. You're reading a book. I don't know. You're doing nothing, so you just put on music just to hear noise. That's what this song is. That's the only thing this song is good for. Honestly, and I can't even say that completely because the first time I listened to it, I almost fell asleep because it was just that boring. I've heard this song before. You guys have heard this song before. If you've heard, I don't want to generalize the style of music that this is, but for all intents and purposes, and for the sake of this podcast, if you've heard, I'm going to say that if you've heard One Dance, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for anyone who really knows more about this style of music more than me and is going to take offense by this. But if you've heard One Dance, you've heard this song, just keep listening to One Dance. That's all. You don't need this song. Please don't feel like you need to run to check this song out. I know it's Drake. I know it's just another Drake feature. You don't need to listen to this song. Alright, so that finishes off the hate. And now we're jumping straight into the mid. So the first song that I have in mid is called Freak by Doja Cat. I mean, to me, the song has a good amount, has aspects that I love, right? So there's 50s/60s vibe, check. Super explicit, normal Doja Cat content, check. Doja singing and rapping pretty well. I'm saying pretty well very subjectively. She's not the best at either, but she has her own style and I like it. That's checked off. It's there. It's a Doja Cat song. I don't know what to tell you. I believe that this song, I'm pretty sure that this song is pretty old, and this is just the official release of it, and I think it might have just been, like, reworked a little bit, but it was officially released on streaming on Friday. I think she might have had it on, like, SoundCloud or something for, like, years or whatever before she became popular, but whatever. That's just what I read somewhere. And again, like, this is just a typical Doja Cat song with a more classic sound. Which, I mean, to me, was interesting. It's like, again, it's like a 50s to 60s sounding song, and it has, like, normal trap drums, which could sound kind of jarring to people, but to me it sounded interesting, and I appreciate that. The song is pretty good in my opinion, but the reason that it's in mid and not good, or not the best songs I heard, is that it's just too fucking long. There's no reason that a song like that, it's not a complicated song at all. It's like the simplest, most, I shouldn't say generic, but it's just like the simplest song structure, simplest song content, instrumental, nothing. It's pretty simple. There's no reason that it should be 4 minutes and 44 minutes long, or 4 minutes and 4 minutes and 44 seconds long. It should not be that long ever. No song that's structured like this should ever be that long, because I just get bored. Like, it starts off really well, but about halfway through it just completely loses steam for me. And I mean, like, she kind of switches it up a little bit as the song progresses, but not enough to where I'm looking at, I'm listening to the song and I look at my phone to see how much longer is left, and there's still 2 minutes left. I'm like, all right, no, I'm just cutting that shit off after the first 2 minutes. But whatever, cut the song off, and to me it would be perfect. Next song I have is called What You Need by JoJo, spelled Jojo. And the reason I have this in mid is because it's pretty basic, just bass heavy pop R&B. But I mean, I liked it. I liked it a good bit. There are some good parts into it. There are some like okay parts to it, but it wasn't groundbreaking, but in any means, vocally, content wise, instrumental, it wasn't anything different. But I mean, JoJo's performance on the song, and the song's general vibe, I guess, is great to put on in really just any situation. And that's just kind of why I like it. It's just kind of like, it's not the greatest song you've ever heard, but you can just kind of, if you turn it on, and if you just hear it come on, you won't immediately hit skip. That's enough for me to put in mid. And then the last song I have in mid is is the talking point of this past weekend, and this song is called WAP, WAP, by Cardi B and Meg The Stallion. This fucking song, man. Oh my god, this song is like 3 minutes of you thinking, what in the actual fuck am I listening to? Simply put. Now, before I continue, I don't hate this song. In fact, I actually quite like it. I find it quite entertaining, and it's super funny to listen to. It is so funny. The bars on this song are just so over the top vulgar and just over the top stupid that I like when I hear it. It just makes me laugh. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a fun song. It's a super fun song. The beat is hard hitting. I mean, both women take a pretty different approach with their flows, which is appreciated, and provide some variety even though like they're rapping about the same thing. There's still that variety in the song. For the most part, Cardi takes like a very slow flow, which could realistically be considered a halftime. Not even just like regular time, not even like full time. Like it's like halftime, right? It's really slow, but what that does is it makes every punchline hit harder, and then it gives it so much time for you to actually like get what they're saying, get what she's saying, and then just be like, oh, that's really gross, or that's really that's really funny. It's smart. It's very smart. It makes every line hit insanely. It makes every line impactful arbitrarily or artificially. Which, I mean, for this song, I guess it needed, but it's still, I'm not knocking it for that. And then Meg Thee Stallion, as soon as she jumps in, she's trying to bite that mic off. She just double times it. And to the same effect, like she's double timing, and in a similar way to Cardi B half timing it. It still hits. It hits because you're trying to figure out what she's saying, and as you hear, you're like, oh, I got it. But the difference in flows is appreciated. They're not sticking to the exact same cadence throughout the song, which would make the song insanely boring. Which this song is far from boring. And realistically, that kind of brings me to the content, which is, like I said, very sexually aggressive, I'll say. You can call this a lot of stuff. You can call what's said in this song a lot of things. I'm just going to call it very sexually aggressive. And, okay, now I am a young adult male who doesn't necessarily associate with the type of woman that, that Miss Cardi and Ms. The Stallion are depicting here. So I had some trouble connecting to the song on a personal level. I guess I could say that. But, like, it was funny, man. I don't know what else to say. It's... I like this song a lot. I just don't know when the fuck I'm gonna play it from my phone, honestly. Like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, please go listen to this song, and you will know, it takes you like 20 seconds to realize what I'm talking, to figure out what I'm talking about. When am I ever gonna play this song? Ever. I'm not putting this on in the car by myself or with anyone, really. I'm not going to put it on when I'm just drinking with my friends or anything like that. And I'm definitely not putting this on in the bedroom. It is never, ever, ever. I can't think of a single scenario where I would play this song. I could see places where this song could get played. This song could get played definitely in the oh my god, this song would ring off in the strip club. This song would go pretty well in the club. This song would go pretty well anywhere where they're just loud music where you're really just trying to hear it's really just the beat that's driving it. And it's more, freeing as a, I guess, environment, if that makes sense. But I'm not turning this... By choice, I will not turn on this song for my own listening pleasure again. I got everything I needed off of the first, few listens that I did. And if you guys are on social media and know what I'm talking about, I'm here to tell you guys that I am not going to talk about the music video. Because... really, the internet already popped off on it more than enough about things that definitely shouldn't be popped off about. But, I mean, whatever. But I will say that I think that the music video plays better on mute. And I've only watched it once, and I was more than enough for how much I needed to watch that music video. I mean, it's a Cardi B music video. And it's a Meg Thee Stallion music video. It's really well put together. Actually, I lied. It's... for what it was trying to do, it did it really well. And if you know on that. And for for things it wasn't necessarily trying to do, like look good or have the CGI not look corny as hell, it did really poorly. Because the CGI, or not the CGI, I guess like they like there's like this part where they're just like opening, the two of them are like opening doors in this like twisty turny hallway. And, like, each door they open is, like, a different woman dancing. And I don't know if they blew I don't know what they blew their budget on. I have to feel like they blew their entire budget on just letting Kylie Jenner walk in that hallway for, like, 10 seconds or however long she was in there. Which again, killed... People were super mad about that. I guess I am talking about this music video. But people were super mad about Kylie Jenner being in that music video. I don't really see a problem with it at all. I mean, she wasn't dancing. She was just kind of there. And I mean, if I'm going to believe the rumors per se that she and Meg Thee Stallion are friends and still friends, then I mean, just have her in the music video. Just having a friend in the music video. I don't know why people are getting so mad at that. But anyway, there's this part where they're walking through and just all the effects just look really bad. But whatever. Not sure. So that's enough. I guess I did end up talking about the music video a little bit. I didn't really plan on it, but whatever. Hold on a second. I'm going to freeball here. I just want to see how many views this music video has as my voice cracks. I want to try and see how long I could go on this podcast without my voice cracking slightly, but can't do it. Again, before I finish with this song, I don't know who I would really recommend this song to. I don't know who I would recommend to go out and listen to this song, but hey, if you need like new twerking music, here you go, I guess. Also, I just want to, and this is what I was looking up, I just want to note that this song, or the music video for this song, in 3 days has 62 million views, which isn't a lot. I mean, it's a lot. Don't get me wrong. Oh my, not good. It's a lot because, one, it's clean, which I thought was interesting, because why is this music video... the lyrics are clean. Not the music video itself. Believe me, the music video itself is not clean. But I don't know why they... Whatever. 2.5 million likes, 304,000 dislikes. That's not a bad ratio. It's a little more than 10% dislike. It's not bad. Anyway, yeah. So that was WAP by Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion. Which, and I'll finish by saying this. I did, if you listen to my Thursday podcast last week, I did say I was very interested in this song. I will say I was a little bit underwhelmed by how much... I was a little bit underwhelmed by the song, I guess, or I was underwhelmed by how much I wanted to listen to the song after I heard it the first time, but, you know, it's still fun. I had more fun than I thought I would, but, you know, make of that as you will. Alright, now we get into the killer singles this week, of which there were several, and by several I mean 4. Also, I want to note, this is not officially JID week, or JID week. I'm going to keep saying JID. I know other rappers have called him JID in the past, but I'm just going to keep calling him JID because I think that sounds cooler. So, when I say JID, I'm referring to JID, or vice versa. But not that this is officially JID week. See, there we go, I fucked it up. See, not that this is officially JID week, because JID week will happen eventually, because I love JID. And I'm assuming an album is coming out soon. But since this is not, even though this is not JID week, JID is on this podcast, or I will mention him 3 times. He's on this podcast 3 times, and I will mention him, and they were all good. They're all good mentions. So I just want to point that out. So if you just hear me keep repeating his name, that's why. First song I want to talk about is called Lockdown, and it's the Lockdown remix by Anderson .Paak, JID, J-Rock, and No Name. A couple weeks ago, I talked about Ski Mask, the Slump God, if you want his full government rap name, about his attempt at a politically charged rap song, or I guess song in general, and how I thought that it was a very terrible attempt at a decent politically charged song. This song, on the other hand, is a perfect example of how a politically charged song can be insanely well made, which to me, I think it is. Human trafficking, rioting, police brutality, systemic racism, government criticism. It's all in there. There are also some anti-vax bars by J-Rock, which I am not a fan of, but I mean, whatever. He's at the end of the song, so I can just skip him, and JID goes first, so I can just kind of whatever. With that J-Rock anti-vax thing said, in my opinion, every single person kind of popped off for the verse. I mean, stylistically. God, anti-vaxxers. Sorry if you're an anti-vaxxer out there. And I don't mean sorry for making fun of you being an anti-vaxxer. I just mean sorry for being an anti-vaxxer, that you're whatever. But I think everyone did pretty well in their verse, which is, it's not a posse cut by any means, but I mean, there are a lot of features on here, and this could have been a bad remix. This could have been a really bad remix, and, you know, it obviously wasn't. I think it was really good. I'm partial to JID's verse, but not only did No Name just ride, I'm partial to JID's verse, but I think No Name also did a really awesome job on her verse. Even though hers was a little bit slower, she took a little slower approach to it. I think it was also very good, and she just rode that beat. Go listen to this song if you want a more artistic, like an actually good artistic expression of everything that's going on in not even really the world, but America right now. Just, this is a good political song. It's not it's not preachy, it's political. But anyway, it sounds great. Anderson .Paak's a god. Go listen to his song. Again, Lockdown. Second song I want to talk about here is called Pin to the Cross by Rick Ross and Finn Matthews. This is a perfect example, or this is a perfect Rick Ross song, in my opinion. Luxury instrumental, beautiful R&B hook. I actually want to accentuate on that part, because Finn Matthews killed his hook here. Just killed the chorus here. Oh my lord, beautiful. And you get it 3 times. He does not hold back. Like, he knew how good he was. They knew how good he was. They gave you that chorus like 3 or 4 times. Ross just pops off in all of his verses, of which, again, there are many. I think he has 4 verses on here. 3 or 4 verses on here. and they're all like high caliber verses. Just or similar to Lockdown, Ross uses this song to examine and give his thoughts on the state of the country, but in a way more like, I guess, in his own style, you know. If again, like I've said before, if you've heard a Rick Ross song, you've heard basically every Rick Ross song. They all sound similar, and he only has really one style that he raps with, but he owns that style, and this song is no different. My only slight gripe with this song is that so there are 3 verses. He has 3 verses. My only slight gripe with this song is that I could have done without the 3rd verse. Not necessarily because it didn't bring anything more to the table, but really just because this song is long. It's a relatively long song, and again, the verse doesn't take away anything from the rest of the song. It's just unnecessary for me listening wise. As I was listening to the song, similar to Freak by Doja Cat, as I was listening to the song, I was like, all right, like, you know, typical rap song structure, you get the hook, you get verse 1, you get the chorus, you get verse 2, you get the chorus, that's it. You know, but, you know, I heard the second chorus and I was like, all right, the song is almost done. And then I looked and I have like a minute. Oh my God. See, there's a big one. And 1:30 left of the song. I was like, oh, okay, there's a whole other verse. And I mean, it was good, but I just didn't need it. Next song, I'm going to butcher the name of the song because it's in Spanish and I do not speak Spanish. But it is called Aquí Llamando. My Spanish listeners, please let me know if I pronounced that correctly. I think I did. It's spelled AQUIYOMANDO. 3 separate words. And this song is by Kali Uchis and Rico Nasty. And what I will say about this song is that we are in the Kali Uchis album rollout mode, and I am excited. Oh, I'm excited. Last year she said that her new album, which I think should have come out already if it weren't for COVID, but she did push it back, and she released a small little EP, which I talked about on, I think, just my first episode of this podcast. She released a little EP, a little 4-song EP, but she announced that the album that she's working on, which I'm pretty sure is finished and ready to be released, was predominantly performed in Spanish, which worried me specifically as a listener because I didn't know how much I would be able to enjoy the music, since, again, I'm not fluent in Spanish. Which, I mean, that's not, the language barrier when it comes to music is not super critical. It definitely aids to a song. It definitely helps a song if you can understand the words, in my opinion. But, you know, if a song sounds good, it sounds good. I can fake speak Spanish and sing along with them if I need to. But, yeah, I was worried, slightly. This song, however, completely quenched those worries. Just threw them out the window. Because this song is hard as fuck. This song is hard as fuck. Instrumental is insanely hard-hitting. And somehow Kali Uchis is still able to sound sexy as hell in her verse. And the hook. Which, I mean, not only Kali Uchis, but is something I expect from Kali Uchis at this point. Incredible artist. If you can't tell my admiration for Kali Uchis as an artist, incredible artist. Listen to her last album, Isolation. I mean, she absolutely floats on this instrument. Just absolutely floats over it. It's beautiful. I need more of this sound in my life, and I'm really hoping that the album that has to be coming out soon. I'm just rolling on the assumption that this single is part of her rollout. I'm fingers crossed that this song is part of the album rollout, so it's coming out soon. I hope that the album it's stylistically like this, you know. Rico Nasty, I don't want to leave this song without mentioning her. Rico Nasty also pops off on her verse, which is in English for the majority of it. It's her mix is kind of weird. It's kind of quiet. Not quiet, but it's hard to understand what she's saying. So at some points I'm like, that might be Spanish, but I'm pretty sure it's English the whole time. Even though their styles, Rico Nasty and Kali Uchis, are pretty different for the most part. Rico really compliments both Kali and vice versa, and they both really contribute a lot to the song itself. If y'all don't mind listening to music that you don't understand the lyrics to, but you are in the need for like an insanely good vibe, go check this song out. It is fantastic. I cannot recommend this song enough. And again, I will be so excited to talk to you guys about this album when it eventually comes out. I'm hyped. And then the last song that I will talk about is called Cereal. Like Captain Crunch, cereal. And this is the second JID mention. It's by JID, IDK, and Kenny Mason. This song has no reason to be this goddamn hard. This song has no reason. I did not need to be assaulted by how hard this goddamn song is when I first listened to it. I was not prepared at all. And it gives you no time to get prepared. It just goes as soon as it starts. The beat is super dark, insanely grimy, and hits so hard you'll probably blow your speaker out if you're not careful, honestly. It's a shame that the beat is the best part of this song, right? The beat is, well, I shouldn't say it's the best. No, it's the best. To me, it's the best. The beat makes this song what it is to me. That being said, though, it is a shame that JID's and Kenny Mason's verses are terribly mixed, because it's in some parts it's very hard, and in other times it's kind of hard to understand what they're saying. Kenny Mason's is a little bit better. Excuse me. JID starts off. Kenny Mason's verse is a little bit better or easier to understand, but like they just get drowned by just the behemoth that is this instrumental, which again isn't the worst thing in the world, because the instrumental is craziness. But I mean, I also like hearing JID rap because he's an incredible rapper. I like hearing him rap. So, every time I'm not able to fully understand what he's saying, I'm a little bit disappointed. But the song's hard as shit, so I mean, I can't complain. Kenny Mason, I'm just going to take a slight little sidebar here and say Kenny Mason is going to be huge soon. Pause, if necessary. Kenny Mason needs more, or I don't even want to say needs at this point. He will get more recognition as he continues to make more music, because he is incredible. He went in on this song. Oh my god. Woo! And like, I'm not too familiar with IDK's music. I know how respected he is as a lyricist, as a rapper, in like the kind of B/C tier of artists, of rappers. Don't take offense to that if you're an IDK fan, or if you're IDK himself. By that I mean, like, like we have the S tiers, which are like the Drakes, the J. Coles, the Kendricks, the Kanyes, the Young Thugs, I guess. And then you have like the A tiers, which is like the Baby, anyone new, like the Lils, Uzi Vert goes into S. Then you have like the B's, which are like Chance the Rapper. I'm putting Chance the Rapper in B tier. And if you want to fight me on that opinion, go listen to The Big Day and tell me that he's not a B tier rapper at the best. Anyway, and then IDK, to me, from my knowledge, slips in under there. And honestly, JID only really goes to A tier, to like B tier, if that. But anyway, so it was, excuse me blabbering on about that. But Kenny Mason had a job to do. He's a newer artist by every definition of the word, and he's going against JID, who's an insane rapper, and IDK, who from what I know is a very good rapper. He had to show up, and he showed out. He, to me, probably had the best verse on here. If I understood what JID was saying during his verse, he would probably have the better verse, but I mean, it is what it is. And it's funny because this is IDK's song. I'm pretty sure technically this is IDK's song. It might be IDK and JID's song, but IDK, as far as I know, is the lead artist on this song. And it makes sense because IDK's verse, which is the last verse, is mixed perfectly. Mixed completely correctly. It's so clear. It sounds like, I don't know, it's just clear. And I mean, he held his own to these two insanely good rappers of being JID and Kenny Mason. This song's hard as shit. They don't say anything too deep. Not that I can understand them half the time, but I don't care. It sounds incredible. Go check the song out. Again, it's called Cereal by IDK, JID, and Kenny Mason. Alright, moving on to albums. We have 3 that I want to talk about to you guys today. I'm not going to go too deep into any of them because I wasn't really, there wasn't too much I could critically say about a lot of them without just kind of like repeating myself over and over again. So I'm gonna kind of just sprint through them, but I'll try to flesh them out where I can. Just give you guys a better idea of how I feel about the albums and what you should expect. So the first album I want to talk about is called Jaguar by Victoria Monet. And again, I don't really have a whole ton to say about this album because I found it pretty late in the weekend and I didn't have a whole lot of time to really digest it. But after the first few listens, I thought it was pretty decent overall. There were some great songs on it. There were some pretty bad songs on it, in my opinion. It was just kind of like a middle of the ground, album to me. But oh god, I lost my train of thought. It's funny though, because when I heard about this project and I heard it was out, I actually heard it from listening to the Joe Budden podcast. Joe, he really said, aforementioned Joe really likes this album, and he shouted it out. So I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And when he said the name Victoria Monet, Victoria is spelled like Victoria, and then Monet is spelled Monet. I think there's an accent mark over the T, over the E, if I remember correctly. But you'll get it if you type in the whatever Victoria, it'll come up. She's the probably biggest Victoria right now, as she just released an album. But when I heard her name, I was like, I thought I recognized it, but I couldn't pin where I knew it from. And then a few songs in, Monet did this little vocal run or however she was singing, instantly reminded me, made me remember she's on a song with Ariana. Oh my god, with Ariana Grande's voice is so great that when I try to say her name, it takes away my own voice saying it. But she was on a song with Ariana Grande called Monopoly, which was released way long ago. Was that? I want to say it was early 2019. I could be messing up that time frame there. But yeah, that's just where I recognize the name from. So if that name sounds familiar, that might be where you know it from, where you know her from. This album, 9 songs, 25 minutes long, pretty quick listen. Traditional / alt R&B, probably leans more into the traditional R&B sound, which she does a pretty good job at for the most part. The best song is Jaguar. Instantly, as soon as I heard the song, I was like, this is one of the best songs, traditional R&B songs I've heard in a good bit. Not as good as the Georgia Smith song I talked about last week, but it's up there for my favorite probably traditional R&B song that come out this year so far. Insanely good instrumental, and pretty good vocal performance for the most part. I could have done without like the feline like content in like the beginning of the song and like throughout. I could have done without that. It didn't sound that good to me as I listened to it, but I mean, I'm a hater, I guess. It is what it is. Easily, this is the most standout song from this album. There were some others that I did like that I took away. Again, there weren't a whole ton of songs I liked on it. I mean, it's only 9 songs, and I liked, 5 of them, which is pretty good, honestly. Experience, which has Khalid, and oh god, I forget the other one. That one's pretty good. And then another one I want to shout out is Dive. I think is also pretty good. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about that album, because I got to it, I think, on Sunday. I listened to it, and I again didn't have much time to digest it after the first couple listens. So go check it out if you're if you want to hear some different sounding R&B from just kind of like the R&B that's kind of making its way into the mainstream. Yeah, go check this out. Again, it's called Jaguar by Victoria Monet. Next album I want to talk to is probably the album I liked the most in totality, which I don't know why I'm the only reason I'm not saving it for last because I think the last album is probably the bigger album. It's probably the biggest album to come out so far this weekend, so I'll get to that. But for now, this album is called Last Year Was Weird, Volume 2 by Tkay. I'm gonna say Maidza. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing her name. I really got to learn how to use her name because I feel like I'm gonna be talking about her a lot for for the foreseeable future. But this is a damn good album, and it hits a lot of different styles and sounds throughout its 8 songs, runs for about 27 minutes. As I mentioned before, not on this podcast, but on a previous podcast, I found out about Tkay Maidza. I'm just gonna call her TK. I just found out about TK from Anthony Fantano's favorite songs of 2019 list, where he named the song "Awake" featuring JPEG Mafia, which I will talk about more in a little bit, as one of his favorite songs of 2019. I checked the song out, and I absolutely loved it. And since then, I've just kind of been looking out for her new music, and I was not disappointed from the new music that I heard. TK herself promotes herself as on her own website, I'm pretty sure, as a singer-songwriter and a rapper, which isn't, I guess, a popular little combination of styles, I guess, for a singer, but stylistically at least. But this project is, to me, a good showing of her skills at both of them, to which I think she's pretty good at both of them. Not the absolute, end all be all at best of either of them, but she can. I'll hold myself back. We'll get into it. Of the 8 songs, 4 to 5 of the songs are heavily melodic and more, I say, sing-songy. I should really just keep it at melodic, but when I say sing-songy, I kind of mean melodic. While the others are rapping for the most part. And goddamn, do those rapping songs hit hard as a motherfucker. This is not a trap album. This is a very, I don't want to say experimental, because it's not super experimental, but it's not mainstream rap music, but it's good. It's so good. Super, super, super good. I already mentioned Awake, which uses this very, very, very eerie synth instrumental accented with some of the heaviest bass that you'll hear this year. I talked a few songs ago about, I guess, Serial, which might blow your speaker out. This song might blow your speaker out. It's kind of artificial bass, not super deep, rich bass. I don't know why I'm going to be talking about this bass so much, but you know what I mean. You can hear bass that's put in a song that just makes it sound deep instead of actually feeling deep. That's kind of what this bass is, but it still hits insanely hard. Insanely hard. And while TK holds her own verse-wise on this song, JPEG Mafia goes in. Just, oh my lord. JPEG Mafia. Go listen to JPEG Mafia. If you're not familiar with his music, go listen to him. He is insane. And this verse from him is insane as well. He raps on his verse like his life is depending on it, like entendres. But I don't know, just listen to the verse. It's insane. Listen to the whole song. The whole song is incredible, and TK is incredible, but JPEG is just on another level on this song. One of my favorite songs from last year. Oh, excuse me, I misspoke. This Awake is one of my favorite songs from last year, and if it came out this year, it would have been one of my favorite songs easily this year. Grasshopper, on the other hand, sounds like a song that was cut straight from Yeezus. It sounds like she was in the room while Kanye was making Yeezus in 2010, Jesus Christ, I'm messing my years up. In 2013, 2012. Oh, Lord. Listen. As soon as I heard this song come on, those sirens, they took me to a place that I wish I could go back to. The sirens on this song, whoo! It took me right back to Yeezus era, man. It took me right back to sound. It reminds me a lot of "Send It Up" from Yeezus. The sirens, loud, off-putting, instrumental in the background with some insanely aggressive hi-hats and snares in the foreground. Which again, the snares and the hi-hats aren't insanely Yeezus friendly, but the sirens alone, if you hear the song and you're familiar with the sound of Yeezus, you can hear it as well. And TK's second verse is godlike, switching between excuse my video game tone of that godlike, but it's insanely good, absurdly good. She switches between singing and rapping, changes flows constantly. and just has a ton of energy on it. It's a really great song. If Awake wasn't on this album, this would probably be my favorite song on this album, at least for like the rapping songs. But, you know, as for her singing, her best display of this talent, of her talent in this aspect, is found, to me, most found on the songs 24K, 24 Karat, and You Sad. 24 Karat is what I'd call a Tkay Maidza ripoff, although, honestly, it sounds just as good as any Tkay Maidza song I've heard, and in some aspects sounds pretty like a good Tkay Maidza song, if you will. While she opted to use a rapping cadence for her verse, her singing on the hook really stood out to me. Enough so it stood out. It's a standout. And I don't want to say unfortunately, because, you know, the singing, it's nice. She does, like, I don't want to make it seem like Drake is the first or only artist to do this, but like rapping on your verse and then singing on your own hook. She does this it's just as well, in my opinion, honestly. Just as well. It's a standout. Great song, go listen to that. You Sad is a sort of an odd song to listen to, honestly, as it starts off with TK singing over this kind of tropical, swaying instrumental for the verses. The second one containing way better vocals than the first one. The first one still having very good vocals, but the second one has some insane vocal, I don't want to say runs, but insanely good vocal performance. And then it switches all of a sudden to this very electronic chorus, which to me adds a lot of depth sonically to the song and really kind of makes it sound interesting, to say the least. But it's really good. Really, my problems with this album are very small. The intro to me is super mid, and I don't like PB&J. Is that the song called? I put PB&J down because that's what I remembered. I don't have it saved because, again, it wasn't good. Oh, PB Jam. There you go. See, it's called PB Jam. It's the 7th song. I don't like that song at all. My Flowers is okay. It's okay as an intro. I feel like an intro should be better, but whatever. And I mean, you know, on a 10 plus song album, this would not be a big deal. But again, this album only has 8 songs on it, 3 of which I've heard already, which were singles. So I mean, you're only playing with 5 songs there, and if 1 or 2 of them are misses, then you're only playing with 3 new songs that you like, which, I mean, whatever. Statistically isn't that good, but, you know, it's not a big deal. I can't go into every album expecting to play every single song. It's nice when I do, but whatever. Overall, this album is really good in my opinion. It's a very short listen, which of course is very nice when you're getting into an artist. And I'd recommend that you all give it a try and definitely keep your eye on Tkay Maidza in the future. Again, her name is spelled Tkay Maidza. Tkay Maidza, whatever. And the last album that I will be talking about today is called Limbo by Amine. Another person, guys, just make your names easier to pronounce, or at least easier to read and pronounce. I'm pretty sure it's Amine. Amine, whatever. I gotta say, I like this album a lot more than I thought I would, honestly. I wasn't the biggest Amine fan going into this project, and I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised with his rapping, singing, humor, and the beat choice, the instrumental choice. I was very impressed, honestly. I didn't love it, but I was still very impressed. This 14-song, 44-minute album is kind of all over the place stylistically and content-wise, in my opinion. I mean, again, 14 songs, but it's kind of all over the place. For how each song is kind of placed, it's kind of all over. While, again, this didn't help my opinion on the album as a whole, it definitely helped me get a better appreciation for his talents, and it definitely helped me pick out different songs that I liked. Because if this album sounded pretty similar, if all the songs in this album sounded pretty similar, and I didn't like that sound, then I probably wouldn't have liked the album. So, I mean, whatever. I don't like the album as a whole, but as a consolation, I get to like a few songs and dislike some others. So, whatever. And again, the variety is much appreciated in that aspect. And there are, again, like I said, there are some surprisingly good songs in here. Some pretty slow rap songs that remind me of Tyler the Creator, circa Flower Boy, or Egret sometimes. For that, I'm talking about Roots. Some heavier rap songs, which reminds me of Vince Staples-esque sounding music. For that, I'm referring to songs like Pressure in My Palms, which, funny enough, features Vince Staples. And some super artsy, jazzy singing songs, which remind me slightly of quote-unquote New Childish Gambino, which the song I'm referring to for that is called Becky. Those 3 songs are my favorite 3 songs, and I'll talk about them next. But, again, I don't have a lot of in-depth analysis on this album because I think for the most part, it sounds a lot better musically or in tone than the actual subjects it contains or the content that's inside of it, the album. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. It gives, for the songs I do like, give me a good listen, but I'm not necessarily looking into the lyrics of each song super critically. And that just could be me, but whatever. Some people might find some depth into it, but I didn't. Whatever. And again, my favorite songs, first one being Roots, which is another ding ding ding, there's the triplet JID feature. Another great JID feature. Charlie Wilson is an absolute cheat code on the chorus, and overall the song just sounds really great. Just a well-made song in my opinion. Pressure in My Palms, which has an absolutely amazing instrumental in loop. I assume it's a sample. Great sample, great use of it. This song features Slow Tie and Vince Staples, and Slow Tie pops off for like 8 lines. Just absolutely goes in for 8 lines. Like he rhymed mahogany and burgundy, and burgundy was a whatever. Just listen to that. That verse is just great. But he only goes in for like 8 lines before Vince Staples just completely cuts him off and just takes the beat back, which realistically is a Vince Staples beat to begin with. So I don't really mind him just absolutely just interrupting the flow of the song, but interrupts, takes the beat back. And again, it's completely okay with it because Vince goes insanely hard on this beat. It's a Vince Staples beat. Vince Staples can only go crazy on a beat like this. And about halfway through, there's a beat switch, and after the beat switch, the Amine verse is also pretty great. And there's a Kanye reference in there, which I always appreciate. And there's also like a song outro, like some outro vocals by, I don't even know, she wasn't credited on the features. I can quickly look in and see if she's credited on the Spotify, like if she's credited in the song info. But she wasn't credited in the, she wasn't credited in the actual feature, which is annoying. Yeah, she's not even credited in the performance, but whatever. Really great vocals on the quote-unquote outro of the song. Really hate that she's not noted there, but whatever. It's fine to hide it, but you gotta note it somewhere. And then the last song that I really liked is called Becky, and the song just sounds incredible to me. Honestly, that's it. That's it. That's all I really like. It just sounds really good. I don't really even listen to the lyrics that much because it just sounds better than it just sounds better than the lyrics lean towards. The worst part about this album, I feel the need to really point out what my least favorite part about this album is, and that's easily the wasted Summer Walker feature. There's a whole ass Summer Walker feature on here, and he just straight up wasted it. The song structure is bad. Her vocals aren't that great, honestly, on here. His vocals aren't good on here. The song is just super basic and super kind of low-hanging fruit in terms of content. It's just a wasted Summer Walker feature, man. Come on. While this won't be on my list of my favorite albums this year, I at least left this album thinking much higher of Amine, and will definitely be looking out for more music from him in the future. Hopefully, better music. Not that this was bad by any means. It was pretty good, but I wanted more. Now that I know where he could go and I can see the potential now, I definitely want more from him. And yeah, that does it for today's New Music Monday. Again, thank you guys all for listening. We went through a lot of songs, a lot of music today. Actually, there was a lot of songs I listened to that I didn't even feel like mentioning. But there was a lot of music that came out this week, and hopefully you guys took something away from this episode. There was a lot to take away. Again, definitely go listen to the 4 songs that my 4 favorite songs being Lockdown, the remix, Pin to the Cross, Aki Yamando, and Serial. Go listen to those songs. Go listen to Tkay Maidza's album. Go listen to Jaguar. Go listen to Limbo if you haven't already. Again, thank you guys so much for listening. I have been Nick Hope. This has been the Bittersweet Taste podcast, and I will see you guys all on Thursday.